Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, criminal court, and other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Maryann Petri. You can find me, my books, and blogs on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com, as well as on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. My fifth book is coming out at the end of January 2026. And my books are also in audio, and I want to welcome back Tanith Pereira. She was last on my podcast, season 6, episode 352, where we talked about her case being in limbo and how it compares to a poker table. Now, today we're going to add to that by what Judge Michael L. Katz's orders violate the judicial system and laws in regards to her case as a citizen. And this all goes against the Constitution. I welcome you, Tanith Pereira. Welcome
Hello,
back.
thank you. I appreciate being back. So, to start off with my case, uh, my ex filed under equitable estoppel in the New York State, according to the appellate courts, to the second, the third, and the fourth division lacked judicial in the Supreme Court's and the fact that this is not even a divorce case. This we were never not married.
Mhm,
So the fact that he accepted the case is already a violation.
mhm.
Um, I had a family court case and literally won and had the kids with me, and he literally filed in Supreme Court, and the judge should have not accepted it. No, the other, he tried to file again in family court, and they refused to accept him. So the other judges refused this case. They try to say that the reason it was in Supreme Court was because due to COVID,
Mhm.
but it's now been 5 years. COVID has been over, and for a while now, cases have been going on, and he still has it in the Supreme Court, and it's still pending. Still hasn't changed any of the court orders. He said he was going to change it for the final decision, and we're still waiting till this day. Um, Another thing that was a violation was that this case was brought in 6/12/2020. I was not served any papers. Um, I didn't even know about the court case until my ex ran off with the kids, which weren't until June, um, 2020. And he did not serve me. He did not, it wasn't even email served me. If it was email served me, my ex actually went through my emails and deleted them so that I would not receive them. So again, a
Yeah.
violation of
I,
law.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of people are having problems with their ex hacking into their computers and just erasing things.
Like I said, he stalked me for 18 months while we were living together. We had broken up because of his swinger and his extracurricular activities in our
Mhm.
relationship. Um, and we never filed taxes together, never had credit cards, never had anything that said, oh, this is a marriage. This
Mhm.
is something. My kids were on my medical insurance, never on his. Even when he placed his own daughter on, he literally got upset that he had to pay a copay and made me take her off. Um, and that was for speech therapy because she had a speech impediment. So this is what I've been dealing with throughout the years, and still to have to deal. Recently, now he's trying to make me change visitation. Um, and basically either not allow my son to see me or try to alter it, which he's been doing for years now because he doesn't give me the time that I'm supposed to be getting with my son. Um,
Right, because
he
you're
has
only
violated.
seeing him 1 hour every 2 weeks or something like
I'm
that.
supposed to be doing 1 hour, an hour and a half, but my son literally has told me in the middle of visitation, Mom, I'll get in trouble if I stay the whole time. And so he has to leave. He gets upset and he says, like, I have to go. And I don't want to get him in trouble because I don't know how he disciplines my child um at this point. And I know his family is not against physical abuse. So I worry about that. And there were times I took pictures because my son had marks on them. And I tried to report it to the courts and they did nothing about it.
Typical. And also, just to let the audience know, this is not his child. And your son is 17 or going to be some.
16. He's going to
Yeah.
be 17. Yes.
Thank God for
This is
that.
not.
Ugh.
I'm waiting every day for him to actually get older so that I don't have all these basically my ex still controlling me
Mhm.
through my kids. Um, with this case, Mr. Moran also was stated on his first verified, well, he had to correct the first one. The first one he was trying to control me where he wasn't said in his paperwork that I would be stuck in the apartment and wasn't allowed to talk to people. I would be able to go to and from work and take the kids to where they were um their normal schedule, but I wasn't allowed to go visit anybody. I wasn't allowed to see anybody or talk to anybody. And the judge made him correct his verified petition
Mhm.
because he was trying to violate my legal rights um in the petition, which is absurd.
Right.
Um the verified petition that he did I ended up getting, uh he completely lied on the paperwork, and I brought it up to the judge and he still didn't change anything on it. He tried to say that he was the sole caretaker of both my children. Um, and he proceeded to say certain things inside the petition that he tried to say he was there in the birth for my son. He was not. My father and my sister were. He
Mhm.
tried to say I had an epidural. I've never had an epidural in my whole life. Both my children were born naturally. He tried to say that needles were placed in my back and he saw. Um,
Mhm.
in the verified petition, he goes on to say that my son went to schools that he never attended. Um, he tried to say that I was causing emotional abuse to my children when in fact I put them in therapy
Mhm.
so that they could have a voice. Immediately after he went and ran off to them, I literally was slept with them one night and went straight to Bellevue Hospital to go and get them therapists
Mhm.
and to try to get myself one too as well
Mhm.
from dealing with this horrific case and his behavior.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I tell people I went to counseling in order to deal with people that need to go to counseling.
That's what I do. I actually am doing the exact same thing. Um, my counselor already said like I really don't need it. I
Mhm.
just I she's like, but if you still like want to go, then you continue. I say I do it because I get frustrated with the
Mhm.
situation because of the continuous rights violations and the fact that I feel like I can't protect my own children
Mhm.
from this crazy case and that they're not hearing my children. And it's a horrible feeling as a mother to not be able to protect and provide for your own kids. The way I get to provide for them right now is I have to send my son food cards
Mhm.
for money cards because he'll tell me, like, Mom, like, me and Abby are hungry sometimes.
Mhm.
And he won't ask for them because he's not supposed to. My ex has limited me even birthday gifts or food or um presents, uh even time allotted on the phone to say happy birthday or even happy holidays, Merry Christmas, just anything Literally, he limits everything. I have to text like a billion times or have to reach out to the courts to be able to speak to my son on my own birthday or my own son's birthday. Um, he has stressed my daughter out so much at a point she wanted to hurt herself physically, and I had to call therapists.
Mhm.
And like I said, he tried to say to her that I was trying to put her in a mental institute because of this. And she texts me once in a while now. But at a point she was not talking to me.
Mm.
I made sure she would graduate high school. Um, and before her 12th year in high school, and I did not get to go to her graduation. Um, and it was at a crazy time for me because my father had just passed and my mom was very sick and dying. And she
Mhm.
did pass not too long after
Mm.
that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Um,
Can I ask, did the judge ever talk to your son?
yes,
So, and your son told him his wishes and the judge ignored it.
the judge hasn't said anything. He made him speak to him the last week of court, and now it's going on 2 years. It's almost 2 years. This year it will be 2 years, nothing. He has not changed anything at all.
Because a lot of
So
parents think, oh, when the child who is a 14 and up in some states, once they talk to the judge will listen. And that's not the case. I'm finding out, which I found out in my own case.
he uh he he hasn't he hasn't listened to anybody because even the other parties have requested for it to come. The final verdict, judgment, whatever you want to call it, the final papers, he has not written one. And I went to, because they're supposed to be like, they go to other judges to go over the paperwork. And I asked if there was anything in. And repeatedly, I've gone to them. And they said he has not placed anything in the case about it. It's as if nothing happened, that we are getting along. And that's not the case at all. We're literally still still having the same issues, still having medical issues, taking him to the doctor, still having school issues. My his son is still having it being delayed, still having issues, dentist and eye exams, and still having um he's he he is the only thing he puts on priority is swim team, which he did not help me even teach my kids to swim. And literally before my son even got awards, he must have gone to them 6 times with us, if that much, by the time my son was 10 years old. So
Mm.
back to the laws. He's he also we also went to a mediator, and the mediator literally said to the judge that Miguel had requested that I get to see the kid, my son, twice a year, and that there would be no compromise or mediation because of him. We tried to have somebody be the go-in betweener who would make final decisions on what my son needed throughout the year. I even got somebody who was neutral, um, a very sweet person. She doesn't even live here in the city. She lives in Boston.
Mm.
And Mr. Moran refused to have that as well. He On his verified petition, he tried to say that I act sporadic, that I was having mental problems. Um, he tried to say that I didn't bring information to him about the children. The exact words are: the petitioner has hesitated to bring forth in proceedings as the respondent's behavior has been full of strife, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening. I work with children and the elderly every day.
Mhm.
I work with doctors and social workers and police officers and security. and medical staff, psychologists all day,
Mhm. Mhm.
and hundreds of them, because the hospital has hundreds of them throughout the day. I've worked every shift in the hospital.
Mhm.
I don't think
Mm-mm.
any hospital, any police officer, any doctor, or any psychiatrist, any therapist, any social worker would allow somebody who behaves like that in the hospital to help patients. And this is what I've been doing for years now. Uh, Honestly, I help actually. I have to know the signs and symptoms for different disorders to be able to report them to the psychologists and social workers and let them know about it so
Mhm.
that the patient is safe, their baby is safe, their child is safe, and they are safe from themselves. And this
Right.
is the constant routine that I deal with.
Oh,
Um, the forensic psychologist that did work on my case literally wanted to do a reevaluation of the whole case, and Michael L. Katz refused to allow it because I had asked the psychologist if he would his secretary if he was willing to do it, and I was asking, and he refused. Michael L. Katz refused to update the paperwork. He refused to hear my son. He refused any of this because we had that evaluation years ago, and he refused to allow it.
what is his problem?
I I do not know at this point. Uh I've only read what the news reporters have read about him in the paper, and one of the headlines was "Judge Bad Judgment,"
Mm.
and that was for him. And I don't know how he's on the Supreme Court still with allowing certain things and what I did read about the other cases. I don't know how he's in the Supreme Court, honestly. I don't know how he's still a judge.
Mm.
Um, I this case, even the Supreme Court, you're supposed to have it's supposed to be a certain amount of money. This is not a financial case at all. This is just custody.
Uh-huh.
So in Supreme Court, it's supposed to be a certain amount that the case, whether it's like splitting like financials and stuff like that with a divorcee, there is
Mhm.
no divorce. There is no money to split. So I don't know how he has this case in Supreme Court.
Uh,
Um, in his petition, he tries to also say, my ex tries to say that I deleted photos. There were no photos to delete. He only used birthday photos that were taken with everybody that came to the party.
mhm.
Um, so unless if you came to my party, you could come claiming my son at this point the same way that he can. Um,
And there's that birth certificate issue where the judge told him to sign the birth certificate issue even though he's not the father. And that birth certificate office is across the street, and this guy is so lazy he won't follow the judge's order to do so.
not only did he not follow the order to do so, he actually blamed the judge. He
That's
said because he didn't put my middle name on it, that they won't file the papers, and that he tried to go 4 years after the paper was written. So I don't know how long court orders are supposed to last, but he tried to go and blame the judge for it. So, um, he has gotten numerous times to get this and has still now is not on that paperwork. And
not
if you really care about any child at the day of birth, Any child, you sign that paper immediately.
Mhm.
Mother, father, whoever, they don't leave the hospital doing that. So the fact that even after I did not fight it, and I only said like, forget this. Like this
Mhm.
is you've gotten so many chances, and now you're saying you want to claim him when you're not doing right by him. And I don't understand why people don't understand that if a mother did that 4 years, you leave a child at the hospital or you leave a child with no paperwork, you can't, legally, they will not allow you to be with the child. 4 years. Like, that's insane. Um, the judge also, um, I am forced to be a forced pro se,
Uh-huh.
not because I wanted to be. Um, the the first the first two lawyers that they did give me, literally was lying to me and not filing paperwork, and I proved it. I had He also was filling out paperwork for my ex's mother, trying to because my ex had kicked us out in the height of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
His mom wouldn't leave the apartment with his sister, and we had the police there. They were trying to this was right after I got the kids back, which they ran off from his sister's house because they had taken him into Odyssey, New York, and run off with them and refused to let me speak to them on the phone or video chat or let them know if they were okay. They were trying to have me and my daughter fight about insurance and trying to, he was at this point still pinging my phone through the computer to find out where my location was. He had cousins coming to the house and knocking on the door and making sure I was there, and trying to monitor me at that point.
Mm.
And this was all right after my father died. Um, I don't know what kind of person, well, I should say, the way, I don't know what kind of person that does not have compassion when somebody loses a parent or a
Mm-hmm.
child or anything, any loss, that you would literally go and make their life more stressful and less humane and no empathy or sympathy towards a person. Um, the only kind of person I can think of is if you have a mental disorder, because a normal person will have empathy or compassion towards somebody who's in pain. And from what I got to hear, he had said he wanted to see me in pain. He wanted me to suffer.
You had said something before that. He wanted he wanted you to suffer?
Yeah, he wanted me to suffer. I got to hear from other people that he wanted to see the expression of pain when my at the time it was my father passed. He was waiting to see what would happen when my father died. He wanted to see the pain on my face.
He's a sadist.
So I
Ah,
guess so. I can't diagnose anybody like that. I don't do that.
well,
That's
I'll
not
do it
part
for
of
you. No worries.
my
Ah, ah. Yeah, this whole case is just so bizarre. I can't believe he's getting away with this for so long.
um
Jeez.
yeah, I can't believe it either. Uh, so as well as okay, so besides for being forced for pro se, because I had lawyers that refused to file paperwork that they did assign me. The one lawyer that I did, the last lawyer that I did have, which was trying to help me, he was placed on jury duty. And I asked the judge if he could be replaced because I wasn't forcing him to stay.
Mm.
Um, the judge refused to give me on, and I asked him legally. I went and said, I do not understand, I do not consent, I do not concur to have uh being on my own, and this is right before trial, and he refused to give me anybody. So that's a legal right. That's another legal right that he violated and refused to allow me to have. And basically, um, didn't help me with the procedures either. Even when I was trying to go to the pro se office. I was having to
Mhm.
figure out things like all the evidence that, like your forensic report or the ACSK reports, you have to actually submit them as evidence. And I thought that they were just already submitted, including petitions and everything. I had no idea. Um, and later on, I found out and you had to have all your evidence also submitted before trial, and you had to have proof. And I did submit a lot, but I wish I had submitted the forensic report and the ACS case is that he did that, and then the evaluation from the courts because I was cleared on everything. Um, he was giving the the other lawyers leeways, um, whether it was my son's lawyer who goes on a vacation a lot, and at times she was not there for it didn't matter. I called her at times when I got to hear how he kept my son up all night the day before visitation, so he'd sleep through the whole time he was with me. Um,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get wake him up to even bring him back.
Mhm.
So this is like what I was dealing with. And she did nothing. Even when my son and my daughter said they didn't want to visit my ex, she said I had to promote it and to force them to go. And uh this was during my daughter's um her senior year of high school. Um and she'd get upset at me, and I would just say sorry.
Mhm.
Um because it's out of my hands.
Mhm.
Uh and the judge is supposed to be in the best interest of the children, and he wasn't. He hasn't been.
And this has caused a rift between you and your daughter. This has caused family havoc.
My daughter and me prior to this never had any fights. Um, we go on daughter outings.
Mhm.
When I was pregnant with my son, I didn't want her to have any be jealous or anything. So I used to have mommy and me time with
Mhm.
her. Because I knew having a baby, your child is gonna feel like they're displaced or not know where they fall because she was only 6 when he
Mhm.
was born. They're like 6 and a couple of months apart.
Mhm.
Um, so I told her, I know the babies take a lot of time, but once he gets bigger, it'll be easier. So I
Mhm.
said, I want to make sure that I'm not forgetting you. So I used to tell her, like, you just have to say, Mom, I need mommy and me time. I just need you.
Mhm.
And then I literally would set up with my father to watch the baby, and I
Mhm.
would go and take her out wherever she wanted to go, whether it was the movies or just to hot chocolates and cookies
Oh.
or little things like that.
Mhm.
Uh, so that wasn't jealous of her younger brother and that they were close. I wanted them to be close, and they are close even to this day, which I am grateful to God. Thank God.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Um, I asked for a jury case.
Mhm.
This judge refused that as well. It's the Supreme Court has no right to a jury trial of a child custody case under domestic relation law reference section 1373. They they're not, if you request it, they're supposed to be get granted, and I did request it.
Hmm.
The court also request asked for emergency relief. I lost 50-50 custody at a point because they tried to say that they needed emergency relief and minimum contact with my son, um because of the false allegations with the ACS that my ex did. Um and he never re-granted it. He literally went and started with one lunch and one weekend, and they ended up taking that away. They refused to let me have weekends, and that's when they were like, oh, it's gonna go back, because my lawyer that I had at the time was like, oh, do family therapy. We do not do family therapy anymore. My ex kept fighting about going to family therapy. He didn't want therapy at all. Um, he wouldn't get there on time. She told me that the the fam the court's family therapist, because
Hmm.
first I had said we should do family therapy through the hospital, and they were telling me we're getting upset because it was supposed to be like a private space, and my ex would sit right next to my son, and he was supposed to be at least in another room by himself so he could express and not feel intimidated,
Hmm.
and my ex would literally sit right next to him in the exact same room. um I try to get him to do it in person, so this way there was more space, so he didn't feel intimidated.
Hmm.
My ex refused to take him, kept using COVID as an excuse. Um,
Oh.
and the therapist would tell me like, I don't know why he's being so difficult at these times. Like it shouldn't be about him. He has to understand. And I would say I just kept apologizing about his behavior. Um, and I kept telling them to worry about my son. Uh, he literally, with the court appointed family therapist, which we did, she went and told me that his narcissistic behavior, I would have to get used to it and just try to say yes to everything. Um, and said that so that I could have an actual relationship with my own son. Um, the courts were like, why isn't Abby going? Because she's part of this. And he kept saying it was my daughter that didn't want to go, when the forensic psychologist actually said she wanted to have a relationship and continue a relationship with my with her mom.
Hmm. Hmm.
And my ex literally has kept her from me. I only get text messages right now every once in a while. uh
So is your daughter an adult now?
yes, she is. She like I said, she does text. um but I know his family, and I know she, unfortunately, I wanted her to continue college and graduate.
Hmm.
She is no longer in college.
Oh.
Um uh Supposedly she's going to parochial school, but
Mm.
she failed out of college already. And she's working to help pay the bills. So, um like I said, my son asks me to get money cards so that they can order food.
Oh.
Uh,
And Judge Michael L. Katz doesn't care.
no, I can't. It doesn't matter what I write or email or what I file, because I filed court letters to the court repeatedly. I get no response from him. Um, he will send his legal assistants, his um para, paralegal or his lawyer to address things, but they're not really addressing. It's more like file this, do an order to show cause, but he doesn't respond to any of mine anyway. So filing paperwork, it's just costly time wise and having to do file it and then just no response. It's pointless. Like one of my lawyers said, you're screaming in the wind and nobody's listening.
Oh, so terrible.
Um, he is violating the Fifth and the Sixth Amendment with me. I am a fit biological mother,
Hmm.
who has been taking care of her children throughout the years, and he is denying me religious belief. He's really denying me the constitutional right to raise my own children. He's violating the First Amendment, trying to limit what I'm allowed to say on social media, um, what I'm allowed to talk to about my son. But if it's my ex violating the laws or his court orders, he wreaks no punishment at all.
Mm.
And I have a stack of papers that I'm going to go through with that. Uh, the judge is violating the Seventh Amendment and the 15th Amendment. Um, and I've said this during trial. I There was even an episode where they were trying to say that I was trying to embarrass my daughter because she had a boyfriend, and she had uh
Mm.
literally had him over, and I wasn't feeling well, and my I asked my ex to watch them at the time because I was like really sick and exhausted. And when I came down, they were doing stuff, and I don't want to say,
Mhm.
but I got upset not because they were doing stuff. I get it. She's her own person. She has her own body. But the fact that the door was unlocked and my son was in the other room and he was a little boy,
Mm.
that's what I was upset about, is because he could have had access to that.
Mhm.
And you don't want to explain to a 10-year-old what's going on with his sister. And I was trying to protect him. And
Mhm.
so we got into a fight about that. It wasn't to shame her. It wasn't to shame anything. When you have a relationship, you have a relationship. You're young. You're trying to figure out stuff. And they tried to say it was like me trying to shame her of her coming into her pubescent years, instead of them understanding that I was also had another child that wasn't of age and would not understand the concept or why this was going on.
Yeah.
And as a parent, all he had to do was leave the door open. If the
Mhm.
door was open, that behavior wouldn't have happened or gone on. And he should have known better. And instead, he was sitting at the computer ignoring them.
Mm.
This this case has been going on so long. This is not, unfortunately, is not in the best interest of my son. It's not in best interest any party in this case. This is this is a very unfortunate case.
Mm.
Uh, the fact that he's kept us in, like, literally um kept us in court for so long. I even if I wanted to file to appeal, it's already going so far to not even be able to do that because the time extension has gone past the limits. So, and to even file in other states for the equitable estoppel or order of affiliation, You'd have to take care of the child, provide for the kid. You'd have to be married. It's usually a step parent who's
Hmm.
not married. He was not on any of Max's um paperwork.
Hmm.
The judge had ordered him to put him on his insurance, and it literally took him 2 years to put him on the insurance because I argued. They tried to give me somebody else's medical card instead of, and I caught it. I was like, what are you giving me?
Right.
And because he did not want to pay even for my son. So as for this case falling for equitable estoppel, it does not, because he's not even trying to comply for what the demands are on that kind of case. His sisters lied under oath, and the judge did not say anything about it. They tried to say they didn't file paperwork, that they were paid up, that they owned the apartment in the Lower East Side when they it was a stabilized rent apartment.
Uh-huh.
They tried to say that, which is still in litigation and it's public knowledge, because the judge went in and asked me like, "Oh, how do you know this?" And I
Uh,
said, "It's in litigation in the courts. It's
uh,
public knowledge to if you owe money to any landlord that has filed against you, you literally you end up in the courts. It's public knowledge." And I'm like, "It's in the report for the courts." And I literally had, and they filed for the COVID um the COVID payout to uh subsidize the rent, which even with that they couldn't pay the whole thing. They were literally over $30,000, 25, I think it was like $25,000 past past unpaid rent. and and even now the apartment is like literally in limbo for
uh,
being kicked out. They've been staying with his mother in her house in the Bronx, and which would make the case also move. It wouldn't be here in Manhattan as well. It wouldn't be in their
uh,
jurisdiction.
right. Right.
Sorry.
Hmm.
I've been living in a private home. um I I work. I make pretty good money. Anybody knows only pretty good money, because unless you're making, I would have to say for the city over 300,000. If you're not making over 300,000, you're just living okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
So,
God.
because it's city, it's just the way it is. You live in New York City, you know what I'm talking about. You're supposed to be making minimum. I would, in my opinion, you probably have to make a doctor's pay
Mhm.
to be able to live in comfortably, in the
Right.
city. That's the way
Right.
I feel. Don't get me wrong, I love New York City. It's my home, it's my place, it's my family history, and I will never ever not love New York City. That's
Aw.
um I guess I can start going over all the violations that he has gone throughout the case. It, his
Hmm.
first his first violations that were to the case were actually, besides for lying on the initial verified petition.
Hmm.
Sorry, give me one
Oh no,
second.
you're fine. I don't know if he has a lot of experiences with dealing with families.
There's another case that I know about that he's going through,
Uh-huh.
and he's doing the same thing. So, um, The judge, I've seen more than one case. I literally have sat in his courtroom and um seen him do numerous times where he favors one parent, and it's not where he's he has where he goes with one of them more than he goes with them. And I feel like
Right.
I feel like he should be thinking about the child more, and
Mm-mm. I,
instead of what he's doing besides for the legal issues. And as a judge, you're supposed to be where you're not biased. And I did file a bias complaint against him because at a point he wasn't even letting me or my lawyers speak to the code of conduct department. And then he allowed me to then after speak, but that was already it would have and he gave me a lawyer, a different lawyer, and he gave my son a lawyer and the forensic psychologist. But after that, it went from, I think, only because I complained and filed it that he complied to me because I had stated word for word what he did of violating my rights um
mm-hmm.
during the court,
Well,
that he went and gave just for that. But after that, just went downhill. It went right back to where he was. Um, and I only think it was because there were other people watching.
see, I don't think he has a a lot of experience with families. I'm going off this article that was on Trellis, Trellis, Judge Michael L.
And
Katz, professional background and legal expertise. And it says prior to his election to the bench, Katz spent the bulk of his legal career working as a principal law clerk and court attorney to the Honorable Barbara R. Kapnick. He first served as a court attorney for Justice Kapnick during her tenure on the New York County Civil Court and later as her principal law clerk upon elevation to the Supreme Court County. New York County, sorry. Katz was serving in the capacity at the same time of his election to the New York County Civil Court. So, where is his background in family law? Or I'm like, I don't,
think that he could be sitting up there, right?
yeah,
It
why is
sounds
he,
crazy. I don't
right?
know. I don't know. I guess, like I said, this is a poker table.
Oh
And
my
I guess
God.
he must have rubbed somebody the right way. He
Oh,
gave
yeah.
somebody something.
Yeah.
Um, so one of his orders was that my son could not contact or I could not have refrain from um facilitating any contact between my son and his biological family, and not limited to his punitive father, grandparents, cousins, and siblings, because my son has siblings, and
Mhm.
literally that's a court order. I don't know what judge in the right mind orders a child not to be able to see his own family or for his siblings to be able to reach out to them, no matter what age they are.
Right.
This actually causes mental disorders and problems as a child, to the family, to it. It literally is disturbing. That's
Hmm.
one of his court orders. He also did a temporary order stating that my um Miguel was his punitive father, and this is where he goes and orders him to sign the birth certificate, which he did not do. Um, I when I went for the CFS, which is the Comprehensive Family Services,
Mhm.
I literally had the visitation with the social workers, and they gave a good report to me saying that I was not needed. I did not need to be having visitation like that. Um, and he didn't put that report in for the trial either. That was one of the reports that I wanted to be in.
Mhm.
Um, so I could not use that content during the trial, and he did not give leeway, even though my ex's lawyer filed late with the paperwork. So technically, she was supposed to have nothing in. Um, but he would give them like I said, he gave them leeway constantly, even though she's got over 20 years of experience in law. I'm just gonna say is Alan, the forensic psychologist, um, literally his evaluation was that the children should be able to both association. It would be better for them to have be able to have both parents in their lives, and that that we should try to work together. Mr. Moran never did. Again, he literally did not want to work with me or work for the greater good of the children.
Mhm.
And even now, I continue to try to deal with with I would have to say I try to um deal with his behavior, because even when trying to give gifts, whether it's birthday gifts, regular gifts, food, toys, anything, I have to sometimes I will have to bring it one visit, him say no, take it home, wait for the next 2 weeks, bring it again, and sometimes he won't take it, and then bring it a third time, and then he finally will accept
Mhm.
the stuff I'm trying to give my child. This goes on with birthday gifts, this goes on with holiday gifts, this goes on with snacks. Sometimes I've bought pasta for my son for like his favorite pasta or something, or something I've cooked, and this I will have to remake it over and over
Mhm.
until he allows my child to take it. He's brought um he's brought, and I don't understand why either. He's brought his girlfriend to visitation. Um
Oh
and
no.
yeah. And I've gotten text messages from her like uh as if I want to facilitate a relationship with him. And I literally had told him, one time he was like, we should like be able to work with each other. He said that. And I said, I just want to work with you with just the kids.
Yeah,
And he
that's how
said,
it
we should
should
have a
be.
friend. I said, I just wanted the kids to be able to go in between. I he is like, oh no, we should have a friendship. And I said, no, I do not want that. Like, I don't need that. Like, I want you to live your life and I live mine, and keep it separate. Um, Why I've gotten text messages from her, I do not know. I do know that I only know her because she used to have I don't know what to say. It wasn't a actual relationship with his
Hmm.
cousin, because they weren't girlfriend and boyfriend. She was with somebody else at the time. Um I guess a physical relationship, maybe you could say.
Hmm.
Um and that's how I knew of her, because his brother is married to her aunt. So that's the only reason I know who she is. Um Otherwise, and seen her at parties, because she has 4 kids of her own. So um I do wish them well. I'm happy he found somebody else, but I
Right.
wish he would just allow me to be with my own children. That's what I would like. I
Hmm.
do not want and to associate with him otherwise. There's no reason to. Um,
Right. And anything you discuss, it's between you and him and not a tag along girlfriend. They've got to stay out of it. These are the people that make these relationships more conflicted.
um, I'm actually happy he's with somebody else.
Oh, yeah,
I
but she shouldn't interfere. She shouldn't interfere. She should just stay
completely.
out of it.
She did cook a blueberry cake for my son, but he doesn't like blueberries. So, but that is something my ex used to do. I got every year I got a cake I didn't like either. So, and that was when we were together. So, um, the judge also, I'm trying to see what else because we have a lot of court orders throughout these years. Um, He allowed my ex at times to violate court orders, whether it was visitation where he would show up late or show up, or not show up with the kids, change the orders. He never said anything. He never went, he literally just was like, oh, you have to do it on a different day now. He never punished him for it. It was never like, um, he would show up with his sister videotaping me times, and I would ask for public places near. At one point, I was requesting for it to be at a police station.
Hmm.
Um, because of like that was like not that long after all the stalking had happened. So I wanted it to feel like it was a public place where that other people were, so I felt more safe.
Right. I agree.
Um, the judge refused to comply with what I asked. He would
Oh
only do
my
it in a
gosh. Sorry.
he literally only would let me do it in public spaces. So I would pick like Grand Central or trying to think what else, or 42nd Street, the terminal, places that I felt like there were a lot of people, and then I knew there were officers or military or somebody um that were, or like Whole Foods or places like that I felt like
Mhm.
there were people going to be around. Um,
It should be at a police station.
I tried that, and
Well,
he was
this is
like,
where
because I never filed, even with the order of protection and from the first case that he dismissed, he refused to let me continue that. And at a point, I was like, could we continue with the social workers being in between? And they refused that as well.
this is where experience matters when dealing with people's families, and Judge Michael L. Katz has no experience in family law. It's like uh, Rule 101. It's just like, everyone meets at a police station. If there's any question, if a parent is requesting that, then have them meet at a police station in case something should go wrong. What is he thinking? He's not.
And there was a time when my son was having a prom, and I had brought him a tuxedo for it. I went and got his measurements. I ordered the tuxedo, got him the tuxedo, and there is there was something like my son started seeming distant because um I would ask him where he was, and I knew he was in the Bronx. I shouldn't have asked him at that point because the truth is that my ex was making him lie,
Oh,
and I should have just left it alone. But at the same time, he was busy telling the courts that they were in Manhattan when they weren't. And I've been to both places. I've been to that house, so I knew he was there. Uh, in the pictures he sent me, my ex would try to refuse to allow me to speak to him on the phone via Zoom because I'd be able to see. Um, uh, so there, but right before the prom was going on, my son started acting weird,
Mm.
and we were on visitation, and I was taking him to a restaurant. I wanted to talk to him, and my son started freaking off and ran off from me, and I was upset. So I called Miguel to tell him, and I went back to the apartment to tell him, and like, I don't know what happened. And at a point, I did like try to grab him on his sweater, but only because we were in by a street that had two-way traffic going. And I grabbed him by the sweater to make sure that he didn't end up stepping back into cars.
Right.
And I went back to the apartment and I literally called for social services to come to see what was going on because his behavior was different.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had, and I called for the police to come because I was afraid of what the way my ex was behaving. Because before the visit, I saw his sisters outside laughing at me while I was sitting in the car,
Oh.
and I didn't understand what was going on. When he had run off, I went and called also my son's lawyer, and she was on the phone with me. And she was like, "Oh, he's upset. Something's bothering him. Like, I'll talk to him. We'll see what happens." Um, Literally, um, I ended up when the cops got there. Uh, I made sure that there was a report made,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and why while I was there, I was very upset because all I wanted to do was sit and I felt like my ex was trying to keep me from participating with his
Mm-hmm.
prom, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I when I got the police report made, they said he was fine, no injuries, no problems, no nothing. He said he was okay. My ex's lawyer in court tried to say that I physically abused him, that he had scratches and marks on him. She tried to say that I was deranged and that I was acting crazy. Um she's saying that trying to say all of these things, and I pulled out the report and showed it to the judge that she's lying under oath about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge told didn't literally didn't do anything about it. He didn't warn her. He didn't say like don't do that, like you're under oath. He didn't. I was like, how is this okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have somebody who's breaking the law, who is working for the law, who knows they're not supposed to be doing that. And the judge didn't literally also did not change anything about it. He didn't do anything. It literally became where um they didn't they try my ex just got to complain about how social services got called because of their behavior. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, it is. When I finally got um they said I was gonna get, because they did the emergency visit, the emergency where they wouldn't let my son stay with me. They discontinued the 50-50. uh when I got cleared by CFS, they we had a stipulation made that was only supposed to be temporary, and this is where this hour and a half comes into play every 2 weeks. It was only supposed to go on for literally for a month, no longer than that, and it's still in play. And my ex even violated the stipulation. He was supposed to stay in a designated area, and he literally followed us around the store during visitation. I took pictures, I texted the lawyers, and I wrote them, and Katz refused to change anything. And it didn't matter. how many times I complained, how many papers I wrote, how many laws I stated.
Mm.
Um, things just didn't change. And I could tell him, okay, he's lying, he's doing this, and he literally refused to change anything. They tried to say that when they went and picked up my daughter because of the night that she was stated that she wanted to hurt herself, and I had called social workers and whatever psychologists to just talk to her on the phone.
Mhm.
My ex went and had the police come to the door after she left, and um, we he submitted the videos but muted it all because he literally told them that I had a mental disorder and that I wasn't taking medication. I'm not on any medication. I've never
Oh,
been on a medication. Um, he had them, and this was during COVID. So you have to think, he had EMS, paramedics, um, and like 16 police officers on this video outside my door, pounding on my door while my son is sleeping,
oh, brother.
um, and trying to say that I'm endangering my son. When in fact, at the time, we didn't know what COVID was.
Mhm.
And he was endangering us all. He had his sisters and his outside cursing and disrupting the whole private building that I was staying at. And this was after he had kicked me out. So not only was he just kept constantly using police and EMS and having security checks and ACS come to my door. And every single time this would repeatedly happen, I would be cleared.
Well,
And
he should be fined for that, don't you think, for wasting
actually, I
taxpayer
think there
dollars?
should be some law that literally, and what was worse was the police, they said that they weren't allowed to, they're legally not allowed to make reports for violating visitation either. Because I was trying to get reports to show that he was violating visitation where he wouldn't show up with the kids or he would decided that and he wasn't taking them and he would this was a constant thing and judge said nothing. He didn't change anything. He would say, "Oh, just figure out a different time to make up the time that you've lost." It wasn't you're gonna get more time or he's gonna change something or him be apologetic or anything. It didn't matter. Even when him showing up, I think even during proceedings, at times showed up late and literally he would just say, "Don't let it happen again," and that was it. That was it. Uh, the way this court has um made court seem like laws are just joke.
Right.
And even when you file or try, it's like either way I feel like is this judge has made it only about money. And it's not about my son, it's not about my daughter, it's about lawyers getting paid. As long as you pay them, they will keep certain things and then that's it. And otherwise if you don't pay then the law doesn't matter. And he didn't do anything to the lawyers that I did have that I showed that they were lying and that they weren't filing. There was a one lawyer that um I think I got to see him twice and he contacted the courts more than he contacted me and every time I tried to contact him or have him file anything, he didn't. So I ended up like trying to contact through email and I would CC him on it and all these messages and he would not contact me. And and then when I went back to his law firm to see if the firm was there, they said no, he disappeared and he owes back rent. Like
Oh,
this is the lawyer, this is the pro se lawyer, the 18B that he's getting paid by the state.
oh,
This is the lawyer he has given me. Um
Well, that's too
And
bad.
yeah, that was one of the things. The other one was telling me that I should just try to like try to just say yes to most of the things with Miguel. She wasn't fighting with me for anything. She was just trying to have say like you just got to deal with it. His lawyer said the same thing. I should just deal with him. I'm stuck with him. I was with him, so I should be forced to stay.
Oh, that's a scary statement.
Yeah, it is. It is a very scary statement. They didn't do anything when, because the judge had ordered that nobody show my son any paperwork, for the courts. My ex showed him court papers, court documents, um, and he did nothing about it either. It didn't matter how many times he violated, he was allowed to violate. And I was always getting it didn't matter what he did to me. At this point, I felt like it was the judge did not care if he followed anything, and if it upset me or upset Max, it didn't matter.
I wonder how he treats his own family.
Uh, I know he has a son and daughter. I did look him up. I did see a little bit about him. He does have a son and daughter. Um, I know he is married. He lives in the city. And lives in the
Wow.
city. I think he lives on the Upper West Side or
I
something.
I think if my husband was a judge behaving like this and treating you like that, I just wouldn't be making him dinner when he came home. He and I would be having talks. I just don't tolerate that.
I don't understand how he thinks it's okay to treat children like this.
Oh,
So honestly, fine, I'll get over it. Like once this is over, I'll get over it. Like it's not like I'll move on. Like I'm an adult. I'm already
mhm.
grown. I know that this is unfair or whatever. I'll go through a sad period, but I'll get over it. But my kids will always be damaged by this. This
Right.
is setting their foundation. And as much as people don't there's no winning on this case, no matter what. At the end of the day, there's no winning. My child is not going to win. There is no winning. They have been injured and hurt, and there is no winning. The damage is done, and I only can try to support them after the math of all
Mhm.
of everything that's happened. I only can hope that as an adult they'll go to therapy.
Yeah.
I can only hope that I could fix the damage to my son's teeth. I
Oh,
can only hope um that they will eventually have normal relationships with others and be
mhm.
able to have a normal life like as parents and not worry about relationships. Like right now my son says he never wants to get married. And
Yeah.
that's what it's become. Like
Right. I
I
know
grew
a
up
lot
with
of kids are saying that.
my son said marriage is pointless because people make each other miserable.
Mm.
And he's 16 and I can't be like, oh no, marriage is a good thing. I
Hmm.
only I want to say marriage is a great thing. But unfortunately from this experience, not even being married, because Miguel doesn't believe in marriage. He used to say he doesn't believe in the marriage license. He doesn't believe in the paper. He's like, it's just a piece of paper. And I was like, if it's just a piece of paper, money is just a piece of paper. Give me your money then.
Right,
But
right. Oh, he just doesn't want to make a commitment.
I don't think he can make a
I
commitment.
don't think he can either.
I think he is married to his mother. That's who I think he is.
Ah, mommy issues. Yes.
I think he is married to his mother. He became the father that
Oh.
to his own siblings because he helped raise them. And that's when I met him, he was like that. His mom, he was home watching, and she had plenty of kids. They had 8 kids, and
Hmm.
I mean 7 kids, and literally, his dad was out on the weekends, was in the park playing playing basketball and drinking. That was their weekend.
Ugh.
So otherwise he would work. Oh, he would work, but otherwise he was not present with really with the kids. Go to graduation. You could go to graduation or something. But as for being really present, I think maybe once in a while he would cook dinner.
Hmm. Ugh.
But he was not really participation in in daily routine for as a father. Like you wouldn't really see him taking them to school or doctor's appointments, never. Um,
Mm.
I most of the time it was that the big parties that they would have that I would see their father out, but that's because there was always alcohol available.
Right.
And I mean, like parties, I mean, it could be a baptism or it could be a sweet 15 or a birthday party. There was plenty of beer at these parties. So
So I'll throw this out there. So your son is being raised in an absent father's home, even though the father is somewhat present, he's still absent.
like I said, I couldn't, right now, my son says his sister helps him with a lot of homework and stuff. So I'm taking it as my daughter has is filled up in my spot now,
Hmm.
and that she's the one who and because even on his dental appointment, he put my daughter he put signed a paper that my daughter would pick him up and drop him off and be able to sign the paper for the dentist office.
Mm.
And he got upset because they would only contact me. Um, this is NYU, by the way. Like,
Hmm.
they would only contact me because it was only my insurance there. So he went and tried to take me off of that paperwork, and they were like, "No, we can't
Hmm.
because this is her insurance. You have insurance." And he went and signed a paper trying to have my daughter do it, um, and so that she could sign the paperwork
Hmm.
and to pick him up and drop him off as well, and be basically the parent for my son.
Wow. Wow.
And so he was still trying to push off
Hmm.
stuff like that. My son travels by himself already, and um
That's not safe either,
yeah. Well, in New York you're allowed to do it starting at 14.
but still.
Um
Oh my goodness.
it, I, there's a basically this judge is not getting giving me my due process.
Hmm.
He's not giving me my due process. He's violating so many laws throughout this case. He he hasn't really he hasn't he hasn't taken care of my son.
No.
And I don't understand how I joked about it, but the truth I went to also two judges, um Adams, who's um a judge that's above him, and I went to Silvers and asked them if they were going to answer my letter or anything, and they haven't answered me either, which is the supervising judges for the Supreme Court. Um, so they were involved in this as well. Um,
Mm.
and still I have no reply. What was interesting is that I had somebody I knew was having an issue with their case, went and asked that after me to the same judges and got a reply and a response. And I still to this day haven't heard anything from them. No participation whatsoever.
Uh,
Whether I emailed them, I've put it the letter in the e-file case, and I have yet to hear from anybody. It's like it doesn't matter what I file, it doesn't matter what I do. Um,
oh, you should have had custody yesterday. Ugh.
I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore about this case. I'm I'm at this point where I at first I got frustrated and trying to figure out how to deal with it and trying to maneuver or look at it different ways or um see if there was a better way to do things. But at this point there is no solution. Like I said, my son and my daughter are already losing, and and I get to deal with the consequences after everything.
Hmm. And your son is being raised in a fatherless home because he has essentially dumped everything onto your daughter to raise your son.
His mom was the same way. She would work and like his younger sister is like 20 years younger than him.
Mm.
And she used to it sounds crazy. I was dating him and I literally took her to my college class because they had nobody to watch her.
Mm.
And this is like she she was like maybe 6 months old. And this is not my kid. We were dating only not even a year, not
Mm.
even a year. And I'm watching his younger sister.
Mm.
And she was put in like daycare by the time she was 4 months. And they even in school, there were times that she ended up at the police station. The police station knew her by her first name, and had a desk for her because she would end up at the police station from not being picked up from school
Ah.
regularly. Like this is not something that's new to the family. She used to call herself Stitch because she felt like she was by herself majority of the time.
Mm.
Unfortunately, I feel like the system does not help the kids that really need it.
Right.
And I'm I had a I had a doctor come and testify for me for my daughter as well, who was her therapist. And she literally said how I was such a great mom and that I was always there for my daughter and my son was and she knew my son and my daughter. And um when she was asked about him, she said, I don't know him. He didn't come. And this is somebody I saw twice a week for years. And I mean years. Like my daughter started seeing her when she was like 4. She didn't stop seeing her until she was 16 or 15, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, I had my daughter's principal from middle school testify, and she did not know him either. And this is somebody who greeted every student at the front door every morning. So, and my daughter graduated from that school. So
Wow.
the fact that she couldn't even say like besides for the name, she couldn't say like he was present.
Hmm. Well, hopefully, as she gets older, she'll go back to college.
I hope so too. I only wish my daughter the best. I only want her to succeed and be happy in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I want her to do better than me.
Hmm.
I think any mother, any parent seeks that for their children. And the same thing for my son. I really only want him to be happy, and I want them to be successful and succeed and finish school. Um, and I want them to feel safe
Right.
and not feel like my son gets counseling for um he has to learn to be more assertive because um they said that he needs to like take more initiative, and this is from the school. So he receives counseling at school for it, and that's something I fought for.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time when I was also the judge had ordered we were supposed to have video calls, where which my kids at first did not want to do, and I had to convince them to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, while I was video calling and trying to talk to him, for one, he wouldn't let him be on the phone call with video. He literally refused it. He let him be. I um I was talking to my son, and I go, "Who's in the room with you?" And
Mm-hmm.
he's telling me, "Nobody, mom." And I said,
Oh,
"Max, who's in the room with you?" And then he goes, "He's telling me to say it's Jasmine." And I'm like, "Who's telling you to say it's Jasmine?" And he goes, "Miguel. Miguel is telling me to say it's Jasmine.
ah,
He's telling he's getting mad at me for telling you the truth." And this is what my son is saying. And he's very upset in the call. And you can hear him whispering to him. And then all of a sudden it goes silent for a good
mm-hmm.
like 20 minutes. And at first I like, because I was like, he's like, hold on. And like for a good 20 minutes or 5 minutes, it goes by silence. And then he comes back and he says, "Oh, I wasn't supposed to tell you that. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tell you that." And um, I said, "It's okay." And I hear my son is very upset on the phone.
Mm.
And he's like, I'm not allowed to talk about you not, him not picking me up from school,
Ah,
um, and you having to come and get me. He says he doesn't want me to talk about that. And then I said, he goes, "I have to go." And I was like, "Why do you have to go, Max?" And then
mm.
he goes, he they're getting mad at me. So I literally was like, "It's okay, baby. I love you. You go because I don't want to get you in trouble." He's
Right.
like, "I don't," and he literally is like, sounds like he's about to start crying. And I'm like, "Baby, I love you. Don't worry. Like, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, it's okay. Like, I'm not upset with you. Okay, I'll see you later." And that's what happened.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so
And the judge knew about this. I admitted the call to them and everything, and they literally submitted it, and the judge did nothing.
yeah, he has no experience in the family law, family court arena. And, he's probably dumped all the responsibilities onto his wife as well. I'm so glad you came back on. And, I will put you down as if anyone wants to contact you, they can come through dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. And I thank you for speaking out. And don't jump off, okay? Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these courtrooms. I'm your host, Maryann Petri. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube. Please like and subscribe, Apple iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and other platforms I don't know about. Again, feel free to buy me a coffee to help keep this podcast going. Thank you, Tanith Pereira, for speaking out. I appreciate you.
Uh, Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Honestly, at this point, I just hope that maybe somebody will have a learning experience more, because I feel like the courts don't help families. I think they hurt them more. They're better off trying to, even if you're not with somebody else,
Mm,
you should work through whether getting somebody, a mediator or somebody to help you, because the courts don't think about you. They don't think about your children.
mm-mm.
They think about the money that they're collecting. And it hurts the children the most, and it's unfair and
Right,
unfortunate.
right. And they don't care. Thank you so very much. Thank you.